Welcome back. The glue's dried, so that's that finished. Well, mostly. I've sanded it all with my lovely old sander that I haven't used for donkey's years. It's fantastic. And that, again, I'll just plug that into the vacuum and it sucks all the dust away. It works really well. So now it's one of those stages in a project I'm not quite sure what to do next. I've cut these two and now I've sanded them as well, so they're really nice. I think what I'm going to do, because I want to reduce vibrations and shaking and potential damage, because it's going to be in the truck cab, I'm going to glue felt onto those with the lovely old photo mount adhesive that I've had since college, I expect. I think I've got it figured out. Although I'm not sure. You know, when you get to solve a problem like this and you think, once I've built all this, I'm going to suddenly realise there is a really simple way of achieving the same goal, but really simply. I don't know, but nothing sprung to mind. Well, I've done one and it's worked pretty well, considering I'm just using the bandsaw. So that's okay. Perhaps this will make a bit more sense. Perhaps it is to me as well. I'm not sure. I'm really pleased though. It's lined up really nicely considering I am doing it manual like. So my rod's stuck in that end. Detailed measurements with a bit of masking tape. Let's give this one a go. Ta-da! And there are the funny shaped things. Now I've glued two pieces of wood on the inside here because I need to drill out the clearance thing so that when it's released it's got room to whatever. Like I said, I am sure once I've finished putting all this together and building it, I'm suddenly going to realise that there is a really simple and a bleeding obvious way to do it. But overcomplicating things is my watchword. So let's let the glue dry and go and have some lunch. Ooh, oh, Cantona. Look at that. It looks lovely. This piece of ply looks lovely before it's even been stained. It's got love. I'm really pleased that I took all that trouble to wash off, clean off that awful label, because it is beautiful. Oh, look. Ooh. It's all dry. And I glued this shelf in, which is nice. And then, single-handedly, oh, come on. There we are. That is what's going to drop down. And now you perhaps can begin to see the complexity of my design. There are the holes. There's the felt. I'm going to glue another piece of felt here now, and the bungs. You see, I'll hold this bung this way around. That will hold it level, but this bit can slide up and down. So that's all very interesting. What I'm going to do now that these are dry, these two blocks, I'm going to drill the clearance hole in the end. I've marked out where it needs to go. So I'm going to drill them. The interesting one, this is going to be round, and the one at this end is going to be a challenge because it needs to be, from my drawings and ruminations, it needs to be that shape. So some sort of slot. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to cut that yet. We'll sort it out though. Oh bother. I need to drill a hole through that, and I've just realised, of course, I was using the fly cutter. Fine for drilling from this side, but the blade is only really thick enough to go through one width of this. Look what I've just found. These are another type of drill bit. How many different types of drill bits are there? And this is a very clever drill bit, because it's adjustable. I don't know which bit I'm going to use, but basically you get the idea. That locks into here, there we are, and then you can adjust it. That's perfect. It goes from 16 apparently 16 up to 45mm. Isn't that fantastic? So if anyone's interested, by Luna. German by the look of it. Very, very good. Excellent. I remember buying that in Symbols, a tool shop in Watford in north of London. Fantastic old-fashioned tool shop that just went back and back and back and back with stuff, tools and equipment everywhere, all over the ceiling, the walls, and the staff all wore sort of work jackets, coat things. Oh, I'm not trying to say overalls. That's a fantastic place. I really do hope it's still there. It was amazing. Now I've got this fiddly-diddly hole, this slot thing, so I've marked it out, and I'm just clamping it to the pillar drill, and I've drilled the first hole. I'm going to move that down, line it up, one in the middle, one down here, and then I'm going to join them up with something or other. The lovely thing about a really good, nice pillar drill is everything's adjustable, so, you know, loosen that, and that goes up and down, but also goes left and round that way. This also has a tightener under here, which is all cast iron, so it's really solid. It's lovely. There's even one back there, so you can adjust the tilt of it. So I just loosened that, twisted it round, and I've got it all nicely lined up. Oops, with that hole. So let's drill that hole actually. Cut up a piece of unfocused felt, because this camera doesn't seem to be able to focus on red felt. Let's try and find an edge. No. With a pair of scissors? Why no. Why use scissors when you have a laser cutter? Right, to cut felt. When I checked my guide, yeah, the only reference to felt I've got is felt and plastic window film. I can't remember why I needed that. But that is 30mm a second at 18%. I was just thinking, and have thought regularly when I've wanted to cut felt, it can surely go faster than that. Rather than 18%, put it up to 40% and see how far it goes. Will it cut? So what I've done is to draw a little circle, set it to 100 at 30%, 30% even, and look, it cut beautifully, really quickly. And the great thing about cutting felt on the laser cutter is you get such a perfect cut, and it slightly melts the edges so it doesn't fray or anything, which is another reason I want to do it like this, as well as making it absolutely square, and it's fun. Right, let's get to the big one, the square cutout. I recently realised, before I tidied this up, and this was all sitting around all the time, why it had got into this state. It's because the family, when removing things from the freezer that's there, rest it on here and use it as a mat. Dual purpose, laser settings and freezer food mat. Fabulous. If I've said it once, I've said it once. This makes a really good honeycomb cutting mat extension. Really useful. I looked it up, and extra bits cost an absolute fortune. This was air conditioning ceiling vent screen, and it came in a big sheet of square. I just easily cut it up. It is perfect. It's rigid. It lets the fumes through, sucks them away. Perfectly flat. And also, what's better, because it's straight at the edges, it even acts as a grid, so you can line things up beautifully on it. Fantastic. I'd recommend it. Needless to say, I thought I'd just point out, it doesn't extend the area over which the laser works, but the original stupid honeycomb here has got a ridge right around the edge, so you know, if you want a big piece of card or felt, it's not going to sit flat. It's ridiculous. They should have, so easy to make that sort of 40mm bigger all the way around, and then it could have been nicer. Never mind, mustn't grumble. Right, and action. Why does it start there? Fabulous. Oh, look at that. And the edges, as I say, are just crisp. They are beautiful. Right, let's go and get that stuck down. Another little expression of love for the pillar drill. It is so useful being able to wind the bed of the machine down, right down that far. It's near the floor. It's amazing, because that means that if you've got something tall like this, which is the shelf to drill holes in, you can sit it on there. I'm going to use these as a guide because I need to drill the 2 holes for the aluminium rod. So I can hold that up, line it all up, and that's it. Fantastic. I love it when a plan comes together. So what I've got my plastic bung there, and I've got the other plastic bung in this side, and I thought for a minute I was trapped and I was sort of catch-22, couldn't get it together, but I can. I'll poke it in there, poke it in there. It's just friction at the moment, but if I push it this way, that locks, you can see now, that locks into the hole. If I pull it out, you can see that there's just the slot, so that's free to move up and down. And the same with this end. That's now pulled out, so the slot is free to line all the whatever. Anyway, so look, it moves. Oh, it's so smooth and felty. That's exciting. So if I want to stop it at the middle, just to get to the aluminium foil, I'll push that back in, and it locks it. Completely locked. Pull it out. I want to go to, and it even stops because it hits against here. So, ooh, move it down. Look, it stops. It won't go any further because that's the point of having these wedge-shaped bits wherever they are, like that. So it can now rest like that, and the same at this end with the. We'll see what I'm doing, but that's, you get the idea anyway. That's fantastic. I'm so pleased. And then obviously you could lock it down there if you wanted to. Don't know why you'd want to. There's the thing on there, and then that can't lift up. How exciting! And it's so smooth. God. Oh, in and out. Oh, then it just look. Oh, I'm absolutely thrilled. I really am pleased. So the next job is to work out how to get a nib, a brass one for example, possibly this one, on the end of that. That's lovely. And a spring, because I want this to always be trying to lock itself. So pull it out. I don't know. Yes, because of course the vibrations in the cab, otherwise it could shake itself loose and then you'd get freezer bags and tinfoil everywhere. Oh, that's lovely. Right, let's make a spring, and it's quite a lot of friction, but anyway, stop it. It's very exciting. And then of course, with the addition of that on the top, and then we're going to have the Timezone clock and all the plumbing and all the rest of it that I'm going to wire up within. Thankfully everything fits and goes through the pipes and things, so I can have everything surface mounted on here. Oh, that's all coming together. Right, stop with the self-adulation. Let's get on with making a spring. I can't bring myself to glue these onto the aluminium rod because I won't be able to ever get it apart again. I just can't do it. So what I'm going to do is I've drilled and tapped. Where's my thing? There we are. Drilled and tapped a hole in the top of each of these, an M4 hole, and I'm going to put a grub screw in, like so. And I've arranged it at the top so that, well, on this side it actually sticks out, so it'll be in the open air to be able to unscrew it. And in this side I'll drill a little hole through the top. No one will see it in the top of it, and then you can get a screwdriver in there. It really is amazing how the simplest of jobs can take so long and be so complicated. Just wanted to fix this nice brass knob onto the end of the aluminium rod, but aluminium is soft, so, or aluminum, so I've got an M6, I've drilled it out to 5mm, I'll use an M6 tap it so it's really nice, and the old thread was all worn anyway, it's really nice now. And then I've drilled a 4mm hole in the end of this, oops, and then got an M6 screw and cut it to the right length with a hacksaw, and then use the lathe to turn down part of it to 4mm because I want it to be strong enough. So I'm going to glue that into there. So that is now really strong. I need to stain the front. If I stain the front now and let it dry, and then I can buff it all up nicely, once I've finished working on the other bits and they're drying or gluing or whatever, I can start arranging all the exciting clock parts. So I'm going to do that now. Look at that. That is just beautiful. I love working with wood. Once you stain it and turn it into more sort of oaky type colour like the Victorians would have used, it looks absolutely gorgeous. I'll let that dry. If something's worth doing, it's worth overdoing. Springs. Well, I couldn't find any really thick springs that were suitable. These are ones that I'd made from that 1mm spring steel wire, which haven't got enough force to push them out. So, as I couldn't find any others, I stretched out 2 of them and then put them together. And they now produce enough springiness, compression or whatever. And then to hold them against the rod, there's never a good reason as to why you shouldn't spend an hour or 2 making a lovely little brass thing. So I thought I'd make a lovely little brass thing. What a lovely little brass thing it is. That's just so enjoyable, turning brass. I must stop saying brass. And a grub screw there, I've machined that down so it fits inside the springs. The rod goes through the middle. I'll get that together and we'll see it. It's not going to be seen by anyone, but it's just nice. Look, dear friends. Brilliant. Just the right sort of tension needed to open this. Oh, I'm so pleased. Right, now I've got that done, I'm going to do something else. I think I might actually sand the outside of this and stain this now. That can then be drying whilst I start arranging the clock parts on the front. Thanks very much for watching. I reckon there's enough there for another video, because the next step, once this is all dry and polished and the exciting plunger has been put in, is to arrange everything on the baseboard. Ooh, exciting. There's the Timezone clock with its control valve. It's going to go in there. I haven't yet made this bit the function switch. I need to do that so I can line all that up properly. That, by the way, goes onto here, which is a rotary switch. So that's how that works. Theoretically, this is designed to fit inside this. There's the flute, there's the motor that drives the flute, there's the ever exciting alarm set display thing, and obviously where the valve's going to go, and a way of connecting it to the truck's power supply, 12 volt supply. It's very exciting. I look forward to seeing you next time when we'll do this bit. Brilliant. Oh, and please remember to click subscribe and the bell or something or other. Thanks very much. Hope to see you next time. Look at that. Beautiful.